Well, we're good, but we've got some people that told us that they were a little bit worried that backed out on us. So we're hoping that you can help us, and I need to throw in the date here for our recording. So this is March 12th of 2020, and this is Senator Missy Irvin speaking to our group. So we'll let you take it from here.
Hi, Missy.
Okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So, thank you guys for letting me speak to you. Today has been a really busy day, but I'm Senator Missy Irvin, and I represent District 18, which does have a little portion of Marion County, which is down south of Yellville, and basically the little Buffalo River area of that. So, and so I have also Hapa Baxter, Hapa Fulton, all of Searcy County, all of Stone County, all of Cleveland County, portions of Van Buren County, Hopper County, and White County. So 9 counties in total. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you today and give you kind of an update as to what's going on in our state. So currently we're in pre-budget hearings and going through all the different budgets of all the different agencies. That's a little different this year because of our transformation that we did to combine the different agencies together. And so we are going through that systematically, and these budget hearings basically give these agencies or our staff the approval to create the appropriation bills that we will be considering in the upcoming fiscal session. And that fiscal session begins April the 8th and should last probably around 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks. And so that's currently what's going on the ground as far as legislative action. In the interim, we do Arkansas Legislative Council, where we have to approve requests by agencies, whether those are appropriation spending, contracts, approvals, personnel improvements. We have different reports that we get also from the different agencies, so that is ongoing as well. And today, the governor had a press conference, and you can probably go online to the arkansas.gov website and view his press conference on the COVID-19. Currently today, we do have 6 cases that are presumed to be positive. Those 6 cases will be confirmed by the CDC, and that is the process that we are in right now. So because of that, we have taken some measures to close the schools in Pulaski County, Grant County, Saline County, and Jefferson County until the end of spring break. So those schools will be closed for a 2-week period. And we are also setting up, as of tomorrow, you're the first to know this, but we are setting up an emergency operating center, which will be held at Camp Robinson through the Department of Emergency Management. And so that will create that network of response in all counties statewide, and be able to have more of a central point of command for joint communication center, and they will be issuing press releases daily. And the governor will also be doing daily updates to the media as well, and probably based on all that information that's collected through the Emergency Operating Center and Command through the Arkansas Department of Emergency Management. So with that, there's just, I think that's probably the biggest pressing issue that we have facing us right now in the state, and so we're taking all, I would say, steps necessary to contain the spread of the virus and we're prepared all across the state for whatever we might be facing as far as outbreak or community spread. I'm the chair of Public Health, Welfare, and Labor Committee, so my role in that is I would say I'm just right in the middle of it, all of it. So I was with the governor today at a press conference, standing there with him, as well as Arkansas Department of Health and UAMS playing an active role in that as well. And the National Guard has been consulted and they are in negotiation or discussions, I would say, about what their role will be if necessary. So, with all of that, it's just been a really, really busy day. So, we just haven't slept, and I'm just in constant communication with our Arkansas Department of Health and Department of Emergency Management. So, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Whoever's going to come.
I'll tell you as far as the budget is concerned, we're looking
Turn
probably at 1%. I think it's 1 or 1.5% increase overall state spend, and we're anticipating a lot of efficiencies to come from the spend. Those probably won't be realized until the next year or so.
Okay.
So I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, we do have some questions, and we're going to start up here with Chris. Give me a second to get refocused. There we go. Okay.
Okay, since I'm in your district, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Based on what you said with regard to the counties, we know the person in Jefferson County. I'm going to assume that there were some in Pulaski County. My son has an appointment tomorrow at Children's, and Children's let him know, at least one person at Children's, I don't know if it's a patient or a person, has it. Obviously, I guess someone in Grant County has it. Do you know where in the state everybody is who is actually tested positive? And when I say that, not where they are now, but where they were living.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the 6 cases that we have right now, the first case that was that we reported as a positive was the patient in Jefferson County in the hospital, and the 5 subsequent cases are all 4 of those are connected to that patient encounter. So the one at Children's Hospital was actually an internal medicine pediatric resident. So they so those residents that are at UAMS, but they have an agreement with Children's Hospital, so they do clinical rotations at those different hospitals. And so that's how that occurred at Children's Hospital. So it was actually a resident in training with UAMS that was at Children's Hospital. So I will tell you, I mean, I don't think that it's not surprising that your healthcare providers or those folks working closely with the patients would contract the virus. I mean, the good news is it's a resident, so it's a younger person, so I think they're going to be able to make it through this okay. The other cases are related to the patient contact. There's one case that I think is related to a travel and perhaps not related to the person in Pine Bluff in Jefferson County. But I think what they're doing is just taking all precautions and trying to get out ahead of it. That's why they shut down all the schools in those different counties versus just those in singular schools. I will also say that those schools have the availability of what's called AMI days, so where they can actually count those days as being in attendance, and they can do that education via online or work at home, and then those students can turn that work in at the end of the period. So that's another question that we have. So it's kind of like built-in snow days that you have in schools. You also have now the availability of being able to count a day and not have it be a snow day or an absence, but you can count that as a day of learning, basically.
And my second question, on a totally different topic, has to do with Section 45 of the 2014 ADEQ appropriations that the legislature keeps renewing, which of course has led to the $18 fee lawsuit, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
What is the chance of finally getting rid of that provision, since it's designed solely for the Ozark Mountain Solid Waste District? And of course it was sponsored by Jeremy Hutchinson, and so you know what we think of that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I do understand that question. Right now we're in a fiscal session, and that I believe was part of special language that was in an appropriation bill. I would have to review to see if that section is still remaining or not.
It is, because you keep renewing it.
Right. That's something I would check into. understanding, the language in that special language would not have any effect on that $18 fee because the $18 fee was determined through a judicial branch of government and not the legislative branch of government.
But it was the judicial branch that couldn't have done it without that legislation.
Well, but the information that I am getting from the judicial branch is that that was a judicial decision that would have to then go back to the court to be redetermined.
Well, I understand that, but if we get rid of that legislation, it prevents anybody from doing it again.
Okay, well I will research that for you and I'll get that information back to you.
Or get it back to Karen.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Okay.
question.
Who's up?
I just have a quick question.
Got another question coming.
And when you come up, please give your name.
I want to also add to that we are constantly trying to rein in and put a little bit more. I mean, they need a lot more oversight on the solid waste districts. They have a very strong lobbying presence, unfortunately. I mean, I tried to do that last session and really got shut down. I tried to take some money and appropriate it towards the unpaid growth program that really primarily helps rural Arkansas, and then also money for our schools, for their labs, like chemical labs, on hazardous waste, and to be able to help give grants out to schools to be able to deal with that hazardous waste. That got cut from the solid waste districts, and just letting me remind you that whole situation that we all got into was because of what happened locally and the decisions that were made locally with folks in that solid waste district, which was just a horrible, horrible thing. But we definitely need to work within ADQ to totally figure out more oversight on those solid waste districts and board, but it is a huge, huge, huge challenge. I'm just gonna let you know. So I've tried to take them off the border, and it's really hard to do. But so anyway, I do appreciate your passion about that, and I'm right there with you. And we've worked hard to try to do that, and we're going to continue to do that.
Okay, next question.
Hi,
Your name is.
my name is Tony Tadaro. I'm chair by the Republican Committee here in Marion County.
Yeah.
Welcome. I have a question back on the Corona scare here. I understand that the governor set a state of emergency here because of the 6 people that have been infected supposedly. I heard also, because I have friends that work in DMV and things here, that there might be some sort of restriction as to the travel of state employees out of state.
Yeah, so state employees are not allowed to travel currently unless it's approved by the governor's office.
Is that for all state employees?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Well, there's. Okay. Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
National. I think it's state by state.
Okay, because I was wondering, for example, if you have a person that works in the state office and has to deal with customers every day, like here at the courthouse, and they're not allowed to leave the state, yet you have people that you're not restricting the people coming into the state. You might have people coming in here from Chicago or from Seattle, say, I want a new driver's license. So is that really an effective way of protecting our state employees?
Well, that's a very good question. One thing that I would say is that we're thankful that we don't really necessarily have an international airport in Arkansas. So we do have a level of protection there that those passengers are being screened in certain areas. It is a good question. That's going to be a call from.
Well, yeah, because if the argument is that we don't want our residents going to other states to get contaminated and bringing it back, well, we're not restricting the flow of people coming in from other places, because this is a place where people come from other areas, and so it seems that it's like you're leaving the window open when you're locking the door.
Right. I understand that. I think that the situation is so incredibly fluid that it's changing every single day as we get more cases and where we understand where the connectivity is of those cases. And so I think those decisions are going to come as they are needed to come. Not to say that that's the right approach or the wrong approach, and that's just the direction that we're getting from the governor's office on how this is, the steps that they're taking. I mean, that could change tonight and it could change tomorrow. I mean, I had to turn the school bus around this afternoon that was heading to Hot Springs to play in the state tournament, championship tournament tomorrow, and women's ladies basketball for Mountain View High School. So, we literally called the bus and said, turn around, and got them back to Stone County. So, this is a really fast-changing situation, and we just have to ask people to be patient as far as the decisions that have to be made.
Okay.
I mean, those schools that are being closed, I think that's really just an extra step of security, kind of like what you're talking about, that we felt like was, or I would say the Arkansas Department of Health and Dr. Nate Smith felt like that was necessary to take. And let me just talk about Dr. Nate Smith for a second. Dr. Nathaniel Smith, Nate Smith, he is a phenomenal physician. And I mean, you can't even imagine how good of a person this guy is. He's a solid Christian man, but he has been in person at these different outbreaks all across the world. I mean, he has seen Ebola up close and personal, and in person. So, I want people to understand we actually have one of the best directors at the Arkansas Department of Health that's in the country, and people call him for advice from all these other states. So, I want to make sure that y'all understand he has prepared for this. He understands it very, very, very completely. And he will make those decisions based on his experience and based on what he sees to be the situation as it is on the ground.
So the governor is taking the lead from this doctor then. It's he that is establishing these restrictions.
So right, at this time he doesn't want people to leave the state. I do understand your point, and I mean it's something that I definitely will express in my meeting that I have with him tomorrow. And I am meeting with him daily, and I'm in text messages with him around the clock. And so that's something I'll definitely express to his staff tomorrow about people coming into our state and meeting with him. I will also note that a lot of businesses are taking that precautionary step as well. And my daughter works for a company that it's an international company, and they are restricting travel in and out. To those different job sites that she's a part of. So, I definitely will share that with them tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. I really love these guys.
Next up,
Anybody else?
they'll think of something.
I think that's
Well,
it.
can you ask about?
What?
I don't want to yell in the speaker.
We got another question. Wait, we got
The
one more.
projected length of time for these quarantines, a month, 2 months?
The projected length of time of what?
For the quarantines.
How long do you think that we would be quarantined? What's the projected length of time?
Good question. So let me just tell you, y'all may not know, but I'm from Little Rock originally. I went to Mount St. Mary Academy. I'm a Catholic girl, and then I'm Baptist.
Me too.
So, and then we moved to Mountain View, Arkansas 3 years ago, and raised our kids there. But my husband's a family practice physician in Mountain View, and so he was trained at UAMS. The incubation, so I'm chair of public health, but I've been on public health committee since I was elected in 2010. And that's really my area of focus. So I know this very well. But I will tell you, they are quarantining people for 14 days, which is why they've closed those schools for this week, and then you've got spring break the week after. So that would then process that 14 days. The incubation period is 5 days. And so somebody can be asymptomatic and have the virus for 5 days before they start showing symptoms. So that's important to note, and it makes it a little more complicated. while they were in the hospital. So there were a lot of folks that were exposed unnecessarily, I think, because of that, but because of that incubation period. So quarantine is going to be 14 days. What I am telling people is just pretend like we've had a big ice storm. Okay. That there's ice on the ground and you're basically snowed in. Okay. And I think that's a really smart a way to approach this virus, particularly if you're elderly. Okay. Now, if you're young, you're going to survive it. We are treating this as you would an influenza outbreak. It's a viral infection, and if you know about viral infections, you know that antibiotics are not going to treat it. We can only treat the symptoms of this. The cases that are ending up in mortality are those cases of people that really have a high comorbidity, so they're smokers or they're elderly or they have complicating health problems on top of the flu, which would then, as those symptoms progress, would probably result in what's called a bilateral pneumonia. And so those are the patients that are intubated, on respirators, and what you're seeing in Italy. So, but if you're young and you get the flu, and you treat it with alcohol, with Tylenol, and ibuprofen, and you're gonna have to just liquids and washing your hands and staying away from people. Okay. So anybody that's elderly, though, I would strongly recommend that you just tell them, look, pretend like there's a snowstorm outside, you're homebound, you're stuck, and don't get out. And I think that's really the best way for us to be proactive and responsible as a society to help the spread of the virus contained.
Okay, now someone had a question. We've had a few of the schools that you've named has closed. Are they wanting all the schools in the state of Arkansas to close just to be safer?
No. So, as those cases, we are doing mapping right now as to where those cases, who has been in contact with positive cases. So we're mapping those right now. So there's no need, for instance, for all school districts for Central Arkansas to close because there's been no exposure at this time. So, unless there's a case that presents in that area of the state, then that may precipitate the need for those closures, then that would occur. But at this time, this is contained to the areas that I talked
that are
about.
affected. Okay.
Mainly exposure to that patient public.
Okay. Now we've had a big rash of loss of toilet paper in the area. What's up with that? That's not non-existent on the shelves. I thought this was a respiratory thing, not the other. So what is going on?
I know, it's so weird. I don't know if I can answer that question.
The mystery of the toilet paper.
Yeah. This is basically the flu on steroids.
Okay.
So if it's hard then you got to take some extra precautions. Stay inside, away from people for a week. And I think, 7 days, if you're a low risk, in our area, it's going to be low risk. And so I'm just telling people, just lay low and pretend like we've been snowed in for a week and we're going to get through it. And so, I'm optimistic at what's happening around the world. You're going to see a spike, and that's going to occur, but it's going to then slow down. And I will tell you, I think that there are more people that have the coronavirus than we know about because we're not testing everybody. And it's not because we can't test them, it's because they're presenting with all these different symptoms that are so much alike, with the flu and strep throat and other viral infections. And so we probably have young people that may have it, may not, I don't know. My daughter right now is presenting with the exact symptoms in Cape Canaveral, Florida. So I'm a little freaked out with trauma, just to let you know, so y'all can pray for me and my daughter. And I would really appreciate that. So, but she's self-quarantined right now in Florida, and so she can't get tested, but, we're just treating her as if she has the flu, and we're, care of yourself and ride it out. And
Okay.
so
We have time for one more question if you do.
with this personally,
Can she
as
hear
well
me?
as publicly right now.
Okay. One more question if you will, please.
Hi, my name is Darlene, and I just have a quick question. We, the flu season comes in every year and kind of dies out by, April, as it gets warmer. Do we expect coronavirus to do the same thing?
So, great question. There's not enough research or data to determine if this virus is gonna act the same way that we see that flu virus act. There's indication that it will, but they really don't know yet if it will or not. So, I mean, there's so much research going on, I would say, around the clock, as far as trying to figure out what this is going to look like and what it's going to do. I mean, the smartest thing to do is to do what President Trump has done, and I've received criticism, surprise, surprise, from the media in Little Rock for defending the president and his administration. So if you guys want to give me some love out there and John face, I will take it. But I think that President Trump is
Thank her.
the greatest people to be able to treat this. We've got great people up there in the federal government. Our government is in constant contact with the federal folks and with people around the state and different states learning this. Just as an example, the directive that we put out Monday morning in the state of Arkansas on restricting visitation to nursing home facilities and long-term care facilities was at the same time that Washington State, who has already had 12 deaths within a nursing home facility, they put their directive out the exact same time we put ours out.
Oh.
So we are ahead of the curve, no matter what the liberal media wants to say about me or about the president, and they can just kiss my ass.
Woo!
Here with all of that, so if you look on Twitter, you'll see me fighting with Mr.
Okay.
Well, we wanted to tell you thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate this. It's been very informative. We like having this contact with you, and we're so glad you can participate.
Hope she does it again.
And
I
we're
love it. Well, thank you so much for being Republicans. Thank you for standing up for conservative values. Thank you for being informed and coming and setting this up. This is amazing. I wish every county committee would do this because I think it's awesome. And I just want you guys to know that I'm working around the clock on this. I am volunteering with the Department of Health to act in whatever role that they want me to act in, on top of my legislative role. So I'll be doing that as needed.
okay. Well, thank you.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.